Welcome to Brutally Honest Talk Radio, where you will learn about an issue minus the BS. We don't always say what you want to hear, but what you need to hear about the issues of the day. Here's your host, Inger, along with Elmo, with his political insight and commentary.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the undisputed, brutally honest talk radio, the show with true Americans. I am Elmo the conservative, and along with me is Inger the podcast queen. And we have a full show. Been a couple of weeks since we did one, so it's chock full of good stuff. And what's going on with you, Inger? Go ahead and greet your people.
Hello, everybody. Yes, it has been a chock full of stuff going on. And as you guys know, we are in the election season. So officially, the official election date is November the 8th. However, early voting has already started. And as you guys know, Georgia is a hot spot for the Senate race and the governor race. So we've got that going for us right now.
Yeah. Just had the debate between Stacey Abrams and Kemp. That was last night. I had no idea that the feuding between Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker was famous nationwide. So
thank you, Mr. Walker. Senator Warnock, you've said repeatedly that the exam room is too small for the patient, her doctor, and the U.S. government. We're asking you to take a clear position right now. Do you believe there should be any limitations on abortion set by the government? And you have 60 seconds.
I think that the women of this country and the women of this state woke up one summer morning and a core protection that they've known for 50 years was taken from them by an extremist Supreme Court. And I stand where I've said I stand in the past, that a patient's room is too narrow and small and cramped a space for a woman, her doctor, and the United States government. We are witnessing right now what happens when politicians, most of them men, pile into patients' rooms. You get what you're seeing right now. And the women of Georgia deserves a senator who will stand with them. I trust women more than I trust politicians.
May I respond?
Very quickly, Mr. Walker.
You know, it is. And I heard about him. I heard he was a neat talker. But did he not mention that there was a baby in that room as well? And also, did he not mention that he asking the taxpayer to pay for it? So he's bringing the government back into the room. So he's not talking about that.
Right.
So when he mentioned that, it's like I've not seen too many pastors that would say that statement.
Mr. Warren, I'll give you a chance to rebut.
I am a pastor. I'm a man of faith, and I have a profound reverence for life and a deep respect for choice. And because I have such a profound reverence for life, it's one of the reasons why I've stood up to address this issue of maternal mortality in our country. We lead all of the Western nations on that front, and Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die even when they have the insurance and the income. Now, that's something government could actually do something about. And I joined with Marco Rubio of Florida to pass a bill to address maternal mortality. The women of Georgia have a clear choice as we're watching women die. Do you want a senator who wants to control your life, or do you want a senator who wants to save your life? Well, I want to save your life.
Well, what's funny, I have to respond to this.
Very quick.
Because he told me Black Lives Matter. And if you think about it, Senator, in Atlanta, Georgia, there's more Black baby that is aborted than anything. So if Black Lives Matter, why are you not protecting those babies? And instead of aborting those babies, why are you not baptizing those babies?
yeah, so it was a pretty interesting debate between the two of them. Of course, at that point of it, they were discussing abortion. It just doesn't gel. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't come across for Warnock to say that he's a pastor and that he has a reverence for life, but you're pro-choice, which is a mistitling or incorrect name to talk about someone being able to make the choice to have an abortion. And then he's talking about I'm a man of faith. Now you sound like Kamala Harris at her debate to try to get the religious people, including the Christians, without actually making a claim. I mean, for a pastor to say I'm a man of faith, we don't know what that means. Say what you really believe in, you know. So
Mhm.
he says that I'm a man of faith, and then the other thing is talking about uh maternal or maternity, maternal mortality, right? Like,
Mhm.
is this a big problem that most of the women who are giving birth are dying in childbirth? Like, is that a huge epidemic now?
Exactly, exactly. And the thing is, if he going to be in his case, you're either a pastor or you're a senator. And it seems like
Yeah.
senator or a pastor is taking back seat to being a senator.
Mm.
So, and for folks who say no, he doesn't endorse abortion, go to his Twitter feed. I want to say it was May 22nd of 2021 that he called himself the pro-choice pastor. He said, as a pro-choice pastor, this is what I believe. This is on his own Twitter feed. So that's his self-titled position on abortion. And Herschel was right. There is a baby in the room, and the Bible says choose life. So I don't know how people make that gel. I don't know. That's cognitive dissonance. When you say you're a pastor and the Bible says choose life, and as a pastor, you're supposed to go by the Bible. But on the flip side, you're saying, well, the women have a choice. They can abort the baby. They can do whatever they want to, or government shouldn't be in the room,
Mm.
but God is. God should be in the room from his point of view. But he totally dismisses that. And he is a supporter of Black Lives. I call him Black Lives Matter. He's supportive of that. And as a pastor, I would expect him to seek truth. So if he were
Yeah.
actually seeking the truth about BLM, then he would know all of that is a lie as well.
Right.
So,
And
you know,
notice none of these people, they say, well, I want to educate people on how they can prevent pregnancy, on how they can have real planned pregnancy, not planned pregnancy by Hillary Clinton's definition, but obviously, obviously somebody made a decision to have consensual sex, and in less than 2 months, they changed their mind, or it came as a total shock to them that they
Mhm.
became pregnant. So,
Right.
talk about that. Talk about, I mean, at least back in the 90s, you heard some Black people, not even leaders, but some celebrities promoting the use of condoms and abstinence and different things that they could do. There's
Right.
none of that. It's like, send me your pregnant women. Send them to me. Get to that place first, and then come to me, and I'll tell you what I want to do with you.
Yeah, exactly. And the problem is, and this is a quote unquote Black church problem. That's been what is it, a well-known secret, if I may, for a long time. That folks are in the church, they're going with each other, folks are getting pregnant, and they're being counseled to abort their babies. I am not saying that's what he's doing, but that is a well-known secret in the quote unquote Black church of what's going on, about that and what's going on. So, that leads me, and this is another topic for another day, but that leads me to the issue of Dr. King and Ebenezer and Black churches. I think, and this is just my humble opinion, that the Black church was politicized during the civil rights movement, and
Absolutely.
the Black church hasn't been a church since. And I'm not saying all Black churches,
Sure.
obviously, but I'm
Sure.
saying the Black church in general. It's a political animal
The
instead of
Black
God's.
churches that are in bed with the Democrat Party,
Uh-huh.
who are rolling each other over under the sheets. I know what you mean, when they're working together. And, I'll let you come in my pulpit. You can stand anywhere you want to and ask these people to vote for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll let you do that. And I'm sure you can make a nice contribution in this apple pie that you gave me in the box with a slice missing and there's some dollar bills in there. Yeah.
Yeah, here are your 30 pieces of silver, so as long as I can come in there. So that's what I think has happened with the Black church. And I think
Oh,
it happened back then. Whereas in churches, it's supposed
oh.
to be the unadulterated word of God, and that's what
Yep.
is supposed to be preached. But in many Black churches, it's whatever the Democrat Party is okay with, and they'll skirt around any other issues instead of getting to the unadulterated word of God. So it's a problem.
And I know that Herschel Walker, he trips over some of his words. He's not the most articulate, and Warnock may have him beat on that. However, Barack Obama was very articulate.
Hmm.
So that just means that I can hear your lies more clearly.
Right.
I can
Right.
hear in a more stark, sharp, bold presentation what you're saying. At least Herschel Walker, he was asked a direct question several times and he said yes or no. One question that Warnock was asked, I don't know if it was about abortion, but he was asked a question. It was clearly a yes or no question. And his answer was, this is just merely a ploy to smear the church of Martin Luther King. So the mediator said again, the man asked him, so are you saying yes or are you saying no? He said, what I'm saying is it's a smearing of the church. Okay. All right. I got you. You have a full 60 seconds to say whatever you want to say. All you
Mm-hmm.
had to do was say yes or no first and then add whatever you wanted to after that. You didn't even want to say yes or no.
Right.
So
Exactly.
how can I trust you
Thank
if
you.
you're afraid to say clearly how you feel about something?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And as a pastor, the word is black and white. There it is,
Yeah.
so, you know, and he's afraid to take a position because he cares what the world thinks instead of what God says. So, again, people are supposed to hold pastors to a higher standard, and I think God holds them to a higher standard because they're
Oh,
responsible
yeah.
for leading the flock.
Yeah.
So, as shepherds, he's not doing a very good job at all. He's leading people astray.
I do
Yeah.
want to say that I was just talking to someone today saying being a senator and being a pastor, that's a full plate.
Yes, it is.
Just to pastor people or, run a church, regardless of the number of members that you have, because not about quantity, is quality.
Right. That's true. Yeah, it
But you,
is.
you want to be effective in whatever you do. It's better to have this much tea and it be strong and 100% than to
Mm,
have a gallon jug that's watered down.
that's it.
Also, some big news that was announced in the last week is that Tulsi Gabbard, Congresswoman from Hawaii, is leaving the Democrat Party
Okay.
after years of her being with them.
Hmm.
People that are a fan of hers, who've been listening to her since, 2015, 2016, know that she's very conservative for a Democrat.
Yes.
So these are her cohorts, the people that she's rubbing elbows with. And then I found out a few days ago that whenever she would go on Fox to be interviewed, when she was done with the show, the shaming and the nasty treatment of the other Democrat politicians that she knows personally,
Oh, wow.
the way that they would talk about her and treat her. And she said that as a news network, the before and after and the way that the host treats you when you're on the show, that Fox is more fair than
Hmm.
CNN when she would be on CNN.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
that's what she said.
Wow.
After a few days after this, I found out that she is not going to the Republican Party.
Okay.
So she can at least be free where she is, even if it means having less followers or less votes,
Hmm.
than just being with, that oil and water,
Yes.
they may be okay by themselves, but when they start mixing, that's bad. You know what I mean? You
Yes.
got summer and you got winter, but tornadoes happen in the spring and the fall when cold and hot is mixing.
Yeah.
It creates
Yeah.
turmoil.
Yes. It does. And I know she ran for president in 2020, and I think it was 2020, or she was one of the she ran in the primary, and I don't know what kind of how many votes she got or anything, but she got pretty torn up there too by Democrats. And
Sure.
as a Republican, as a conservative, etc., looking in, she was the more moderate of the crew in 2020. Um, and that's something I don't, I guess it's because the Democrat Party is going left, obviously.
Mm.
But it seems like they would have put her out there as to have the crossover appeal,
Yeah,
because
right,
there are some soft Democrats just like there's soft Republicans. And
right.
maybe there's a meet up in the middle, and she can cross over and get those voters. But she got slammed in the
Yeah.
2020 primaries.
Stacey Abrams. Just what I found out about her last week that I didn't know is that when she was in college, she was involved in some demonstration or something where she was standing on the American flag.
I think I heard that somewhere. And I think I heard that for the when she ran the first time
Mm.
in 4 years ago. I think I
Yeah,
did hear about that. Yeah, in 2016 or something, or 2018 when she ran.
right.
Yep. Yep. I
It's
heard
a
about
huge problem. It's like whatever you feel, whatever kind of person you are in politics, wherever you want to go, you have to at least be a fan of the majority of the Constitution, which is what the flag represents. That's we have a flag, we have a Constitution. Flag is representation, but
that.
the reason why we have the freedoms that we have, or somebody can look at our freedoms and not see freedoms when they look at it. They can look at it as, I really don't like how fair this is and how you can't cry wolf or complain or scream to get what you want. You have to be fair and work at what you want. I don't like that. I want special privilege. So I'm gonna
Right.
wipe my feet on this flag. You
Exactly.
know,
I am not sure if you've heard this one, but I just heard about it. Just happened this morning, if I'm not mistaken, where Abrams is conflating abortion and inflation. And I quote, "Let's be clear. Having children is why you're worried about your price for gas. It's why you're concerned about how much food costs. For
oh
women, this is
right.
not a reductive issue. You can't divorce being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy from the economic realities of having a child."
Mm.
That is what she said. And so these are dash dash. It's important for us to have both in the conversation. So that's what she says. So she's saying the reason that women are being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy, they
Mm.
can't abort their child. That's why they're worried about inflation, because the kids are here. Yeah, it's like because they, oh,
If you had zero, you can't afford to take care of one. If you had three, you can't take care of a four. Not another baby.
yeah, yeah. You have children, so therefore you're worried about how much food costs because you have kids. But in her
Mm-mm.
mind, I guess if, as long as you can have an abortion, then you don't have to worry about the kids and you don't have to worry about how much food costs.
People
So
are people
it's
are hitting the outer rings of the bullseye instead of hitting the center.
yeah.
Again, when people talk about the exceptions like rape and a teenage child and all of that,
Hmm.
most of the women who have abortions or want to have abortions are single. They're not married.
Hmm.
If they got married first, I'm not talking about a shotgun wedding.
Yeah.
That's a plan B and a plan C still. If there was no talk of having a baby, you think they had a conversation about commitment?
Right, right. But and on the flip side of that, well, if you don't have kids or if you had an abortion, then you wouldn't be worried about the gas prices or the price of food,
Right.
because you don't have this to worry about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I get the connection now. I get it.
It's like, girl, you
She puts
know,
stuff together and makes it make sense.
oh gosh, it just it's oh
Well,
goodness.
this is a boat that Abrams is not in because nobody's trying to get her pregnant. That's the first thing.
Uh,
Okay. I mean, I don't know if she has any
mhm.
kids. I would assume that she doesn't.
I don't
Talking
think
like,
she doesn't from okay, this is rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. I know she doesn't have any kids because she hasn't mentioned it or anything like that. I think she's a lesbian. I think. That's
okay.
what I've heard. Don't know how true it is or not, but yeah.
Yeah, and the Republicans aren't really the type of people to try to bring that out.
No,
You
no.
know,
I
if
mean,
they
she's
found out
digging
or
her
if it's
own
true.
hole
No.
with this statement. Republicans don't have to do anything but just stand there. If your enemy is about to commit suicide, get out of his way. Help,
Yeah.
give him more bullets. You know what I'm saying? So there
In case you don't
she's
do it
digging her
right the
own
first
hole,
time.
huh?
I said, in case you don't do it right the first time.
They should do it right the first time here, but wait, there's more. So she's doing it to herself. I think all they need to do is just stand back and kind of let her do it. Um, but yeah, and let's don't forget to mention. I think she has either one or two parents that are pastors as well.
Hmm.
Yes, I think it's either one or both, if I'm not mistaken, are pastors as well. So yeah, this is again going back to the black church. So yeah, that's a problem. That's a huge problem.
Right.
But you cannot, in good conscience, vote for these Democrats um, with the understanding of what they have going on and what they're doing nationwide. You just can't do it in good conscience.
And speaking of Democrats, the top jackass donkey mascot of the party, Mr. Biden, JoJo Dancer Bitey Boy, has his gaffe of the week when he appeared in front of a group of people and he said, all right, here's my best Biden impersonation. I want to start this meeting off with two words: made in America. I don't know if I was more shocked by him not knowing math at such a low level count or the fact that nobody laughed.
Right.
When he said that, everybody cheered. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, right.
no, nobody laughed.
Right.
Nobody, people are applauding and cheering. Like, you didn't notice what he just said?
Right,
Uh, unless he meant maiden,
oh
like Iron Maiden, as one word, and then America.
no, it's and that's a shame. It's like the emperor has no clothes, and you notice it, I notice it, other people notice the emperor has no clothes, and everybody else is saying, "Oh my gosh, I love your Versace suit.
Right.
Where'd you get it?" Oh my God, those shoes are just wonderful. Where can I get a pair? It's like people.
Right.
It's like,
Spread the word among
you
the
think you're going
townspeople.
crazy
Suit
because
is
you're just
invisible. The
calling
suit
what
is
you see it.
invisible.
Yeah.
Suit is
Like,
invisible.
come on. It's like,
Yep.
seriously, people just stop. Just stop. Stop perpetuating the lie.
And
It's
again, Biden doesn't stop and go, I'm sorry. What I meant to say was three words. That's really three
right.
words. He just kept going right into it.
Well, that was like the three-letter words he talked about when I think he and Obama were in office, and it was about, I think it was something up in Detroit. There's a three-letter word about what's going on. JOBS, jobs. That's what he said. That is exactly what he said. So this isn't the first time. But you know, just
Oh,
yeah,
jobs. Yeah. A
it's
three-letter word. Wow.
three-letter word, jobs. It's like, come on. So,
Biden is not running again. And I'm partly saying this because of something that I heard from another entity that makes sense. They're saying that he's
right, it does.
running because they don't
Uh-huh.
have anyone else or they don't want to announce who it is.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they announce it, they don't have anyone that's worthy. They don't have anyone that's good.
Mhm.
And whoever it is, the Republicans will go after them right away. And they don't have to go after their background, they go after their foreground.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And but you're right. They don't
He
have a bullpen.
knows. He didn't even want to get out of bed this morning. Now you're talking about running somewhere? You know.
Exactly. Yeah. He's supposed he's tripping upstairs up the
Yeah,
stairs of the
literally.
first one. He's falling down on bikes that he's not riding. He's not riding the bike and falling down. He's just standing on the bike and falling down. Um,
Right. He
but
needs two
yeah,
kickstands, one on each
t-
side.
one on each side, and he still falls down. So
Training
you know,
wheels.
he's just they don't have anybody there. They don't want Kamala, obviously,
They don't.
because if she were worth 10 cents, they'd be pushing her as the first black president. I'm sorry, first black woman president. They'd be pushing that, but they don't want her because they know she's a disaster. The one person that could have made sense of all of it is Tulsi Gabbard, and she wants nothing else to do with them. The other guy, the secretary Buttigieg, folks don't want him because of his lifestyle, I think, and that. So they really have no one else. They
Well,
and Gavin Newsom, but he's ripping California to shreds. So
yeah,
he looks the part, but nobody wants him because he's horrible.
he may go after it one day, and
He
even
may.
even with him not being qualified, if he can get the votes or he can get the delegates, they'll put him up there. But
Yeah,
these
yeah,
these
they'll put him in
people
the
that you're
cabinet.
mentioning, Kamala Harris, Buttigieg, Rachel Levine,
Oh,
the
man,
cross
yeah,
dresser, man, woman,
yeah,
with
yeah,
that's wearing a uniform jacket with a skirt and makeup
yes,
is
yeah.
these people, they're not qualified. You take away their twisted identity,
Hmm.
they can't do the job. Like,
Right.
even if, I mean, I'm sure there are people that don't like booty judge lifestyle, but they can't do their job either. If you took Kamala's brain and put it inside the head of a white man, he would never become president.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
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 true.
how she got that job. In
Hmm.
other words, like, she literally didn't have to open her mouth just
Right.
because of color of her skin, and
Hmm.
you could tell that she's a woman, and
Yeah,
that's it.
that's it.
And that's the problem that you have with that. Want to talk about the war in Ukraine and Russia for a bit, and bring Biden into this somewhat also. Um, it of course is escalating and getting bad, getting worse. There's talk from Putin as well as U.S. about nuclear weapons and nuclear arsenal, and none of that is good.
Nah.
But what I found out last week, I was shocked. So far, there have been 65,000 Russian soldiers killed
Oh, wow. Wow.
since the war started in February or March.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, to put this in perspective, in Vietnam, which was a 10-year war, there were
Yeah.
53,000 American soldiers lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
53,000 in 10 years. We ain't even made it to Halloween yet, and the Russians have lost 65,000
Yeah.
soldiers.
Yeah.
If that many people have been killed, there's 100,000 that have been wounded, crippled,
Right.
everything from getting their legs blown off to they catch a couple of bullets in their arm and they're
Hmm.
out for a few days, which that affects battle also
Yes, it
before they can
does.
go back in and fight again.
It does.
So, yeah, I'm just speaking for myself. I'm really surprised with how Ukraine has been able to hold their own.
I wonder how many losses Ukraine has suffered. And, with that, with I don't know what Russia calls it, but they're now not going to sell the oil or heating oil or whatever that Europe needs in order to stay warm this winter. So, there's a lot going on with that as well. I know Europe is going. Last, I think it's yesterday, I saw their protests in France, Italy, and I want to say Germany, and
Mhm.
then someplace else, because they're going to have a harsh winter and their heating oil costs are going to be outrageous, nearly unaffordable for
To
a
make
lot of
sure I
people.
understand you, you're
Uh-huh.
saying that this heating oil that they're not going to be able to have, they were getting that from Ukraine?
They were getting it from Russia, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
Russia was supplying, or maybe it was coming through a pipeline or something to that effect.
Maybe it
But
was on
that,
that bridge that the Ukrainians blew up when those trucks, had gas on them and they exploded. And then the middle of the bridge just broke and went down. It was like one of their major supply chains.
could be.
So
It
yeah,
could
they're
be.
but yeah, because they're definitely Russia's definitely having a problem getting resources and munitions to their soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But the other thing I was
it's
going to say about Biden, because a couple of weeks ago he was talking about we're on the brink of nuclear Armageddon and the consequences or the dire circumstances and all of this. If anything goes down, 20 dudes are going to escort Biden into an underground bunker.
yeah, they
They're going
will.
to get on a Men in Black elevator and it's going to go blip, 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 and they're going to go down. And Biden, he's not going to know his ass from a hole in the ground or a crater. He's going to
Exactly.
get down there and they'll be doing everything for him, including wiping his nose and leading him around by the nose.
Yeah, right.
And go, okay, Mr. President, we have your playpen ready. It's over here. We got SpongeBob and a couple of toys, and we got Jill as your dedicated doctor to take care of you.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be affected at all. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not going to be calling any shots from down there.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't see him the last 6 weeks before the election.
Right.
So if there's a nuclear winter, you know, he's gonna just disappear. So let's just, let's remove this guy.
Right.
I mean, let's take him off the set for a while, maybe till this is over. Who's the Secretary of State now? Who's our ambassador for speaking to Russia?
Oh goodness. Who? Oh my goodness. I should
Those
have
these people need to come to the forefront.
That's true. Oh, John Kerry, I think, is our
Oh,
Secretary of State. And they
okay.
got, I think so. Secretary of State, is it John Kerry? Because I think he's all into the
Oh, for sure.
climate change, all that sort of stuff. Um,
Al Gore passed the torch on to him.
right.
He just flipped the torch around. On one side, it said global warming. On the other side, it said climate change. Here you go, John. By the way, I want to remind people, that are old enough to remember this with Al Gore and the Inconvenient Truth documentary and all of that. Around 2010, Al Gore said, I lied when I said all this stuff about the damage that global warming will do.
Oh, yeah.
He admitted it. I
But
mean,
it's,
first of all, when he said the middle of the earth is 9 million degrees and then quoted that scientist and said, I got my information from him. And a couple of days later, the scientist was like, I didn't tell you to say that. Where are you getting that from? And some people are gullible to believe that the center of the earth is 9 million degrees, which is hotter than the freaking sun.
right. Right. Well, and the Secretary of State is Anthony Blinken. It's not John Kerry. It's Anthony Blinken. But yeah, that this, when Gore was talking about, what was it, An Inconvenient Truth, and the day after is about all this climate change stuff and glaciers and all that. Meanwhile, he's getting on his plane to go back and forth to his compound, on his private plane to go back and forth to his private compound, telling everybody else the earth is dying because of climate change. But the thing is, yeah, he said it was a lie. But it already had its feet, its legs, and it was all the way running before he could get a hand on it. So now it's turned into a religion,
Mm.
even though it's a lie.
Right,
you
a
know,
conspiracy theory, cult religion.
yes, that's it. It's a religion. It's a cult. It really is.
Yo, so we're talking about possibility of nuclear conflict a minute ago. Did you see the public service announcement that New York City has been showing on local television?
No.
Okay, this thing is so preposterous they got this actress that looks like AOC's twin sister, and she's standing up there. She's in her room. She's talking to people, going, "In the event of a nuclear war, get inside. If you're already inside, then go down in the basement. If there is no basement in your building, stand in the middle of the room and make sure the doors and the windows are shut." Like, what the hell are you talking about? Do you understand what this is? This is hell comes up to the surface and meets earth. We're talking about a tidal wave of fire moving at 80 or 90 miles an hour. I mean, people can go back and watch the videos of nuclear testing in Nevada from 30 years ago and see the leaves and branches getting blown off of trees, and these buildings, these 1-2 story structures getting just annihilated.
Yeah.
And this chick is talking about, if a bomb hits Manhattan, stand in the middle of your living room.
You can't make it up.
And then at the end of it, she looks at the camera and goes, "You got this, New York." Like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't blame the woman. She's an actress, obviously. But whoever wrote this propaganda and is pushing it out there, it's end game.
Right.
With no overtime. It's zero, I mean, now I lay me down to sleep. Say the quickest prayer you can say. All right. We are so vulnerable. People have no idea. And they're talking about, who was that? Some politician was talking about, well, the billionaires are going to be in their bunkers. Most of the billionaires don't have bunkers. They're too busy living their life and, traveling and being extravagant. There would be a few, but I would say most of the rich people don't have this. And then, unless you're camping out in there, what are you going to do? You're going to be at Walgreens, picking up a few things, and then hope you make it home to your bunker in time?
It's just, but people listen to it.
I mean, I don't want people to be in a panic. In any emergency situation, people can get trampled. They can be running over each other and turn on each other. I mean, we already know afterwards that people, they're not able to get to stores to get food, or the police are not responding because wherever their paycheck came from, that's gone, and they got to go home and protect their own families.
Exactly.
So it would be an anarchy type of situation.
Yeah.
Okay, but these people are trying to make it seem like it's a thunderstorm or something.
Folks are it's just if they sit there and listen to it, okay. I just tell them, okay. There's nothing you can do with that level of just sheer stupidity. Okay.
I mean, who wrote this? De Blasio? Was he the director of the commercial? Like, I hope y'all didn't spend a lot of money on this, especially if it's taxpayer money.
Well, of course it was taxpayer money. Of course it was.
Yeah. And people just, they don't understand. It's as big and powerful as the United States is. It's, the army, the military, they wouldn't be able to really do anything. It would just be a matter of people launching and hitting targets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've obviously given this a lot of thought over the last couple of weeks, and this may be cynical, but I was thinking, well, it's possible that if the superpowers take each other out, then maybe that'll be like when the dinosaurs left, and then the smaller creatures inherited the earth, and then the third world countries would take over or rebuild.
Yeah. Oh boy.
The situation with Alex Jones having to pay out all this money after the lawsuit for the families or the survivors of Sandy Hook.
Yes.
Alex has to pay $965 million.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Mm-hmm.
a very successful podcaster, host of his show. I don't know if he has anything close to that money. That's one thing. First, I didn't know that much about it. And then I saw stories of how, the parents of these kids and other people, they were verbally attacked. I don't know if people being physically attacked, but just being outcasts in society. Like I think he said some of their names,
Mm-hmm.
maybe showed their pictures. They were getting harassed, super harassed, and life was hard for them. And we're talking about how many people was in this? It looked like
I think
10 to
it's
15.
yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Plus
Yeah.
the
So,
teachers and everything. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. First I want to say that he was wrong for saying that. He was
Mm-hmm.
wrong for saying that. And if you think it was a hoax, don't say that these other people, the family members, were doing this so that they could, get some kind of a gain or profit out of it.
Yeah.
You know. So with that said, do you think that this is fair, or do you think that this is way, way extreme and over the top with what the judge ordered him to have to pay?
I think it's extreme and over the top, and they're just trying to make an example of him. Because they don't even make corporations pay that amount of money when there's a recall on something,
Oh,
on bicycles or baby seats or whatever, or foods or anything like that. So I think they're just trying to make an example out of him.
mm,
Um, I think I heard someplace where obviously the person that did it died, killed himself, and so there's nowhere that the families can go to get quote unquote justice, if you will, because the guy killed himself.
okay,
So,
right, right.
so maybe this is the judge's way of trying to get them justice or whatever. But obviously, he doesn't have the money. He's going to appeal the decision. I think I guess the larger argument is a First Amendment kind of
I was
thing.
just thinking
You
about that.
know, where does it start and stop, if you will?
Right.
So,
And I was in lining up in the traditional sense of what we know about it. He actually had the right to say whatever he said.
hmm
You can be incorrect in your information, with the exception of saying that someone should be killed or instructing people to go and hurt someone else. You really have to hold accountable these degenerates that went after them and
yeah.
threatened them and spit on them, or whatever they did in
Mhm.
person or attacking online. you
Yeah.
you really have to hold them accountable. But
hmm
to say, like you said, and trying to make an example out of Alex, those people, those trollers, they don't have the money. They definitely
Right.
don't have anything close to that to pay.
And the thing is, it didn't help that he was outrageous in general. I mean, that did
Yeah.
not help his case at all. That he would say things are making the frogs gay and all that kind of stuff. I mean, and tinfoil hat wearing folks going along with it and say, yeah, yeah, the earth is flat too.
Right.
It's like just keeps going on and on
Oh
and on.
man.
So
You'd
that
be, maybe you wouldn't be surprised, but a lot of people would. The number of folks out here in America that believe that the earth is flat.
yes, there are a lot of folks that believe such a thing. And
Maybe
and
they
then
can get in a raffle or a lottery to get on the space shuttle and go up in space, and then from a distance see the earth turn in its spherical form.
you're
And
right.
maybe that'll change your mind about the earth being flat, but maybe
Who
not.
knows? Who knows? For me, it was like it was a bridge too far.
Oh yeah,
It had just happened. It was heinous. It was kids involved. It was parent. It was just. It's like it it didn't sit well with me. All the stuff that he was saying about it at
sure.
all, and
Oh
I just
yeah.
thought he probably should use some discretion and just kind of left it alone. But again, First Amendment, I guess, but it just didn't sit well at all with me. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think that he's going to go away or that he's going to stop believe in conspiracies and have his show, this publicity may have promoted his show more, and he may
You
get
know,
more viewers now than he did before. You know,
that's true. There's no such thing as bad press, bad publicity. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Yeah, any
right.
publicity is good publicity. So
Look
you're
at
right. And
the Jeffrey Dahmer series and how popular that is.
I
And
never
that's a true story, real people whose names were broadcast, were, maimed and mutilated.
Yep.
And I don't know if they changed the names in the movie, but somebody was able to green light this thing and give them a right to do this show.
Yeah,
But all these people that died. And this is, I think, is Netflix, so they're making money off of it.
they are. They sure are. That is
They're making
very
money.
true. So if one last thing, if you want to make any predictions about what you think is going to happen, not just in any Georgia races, but races across the country, you want to make
Mhm.
any predictions?
Yeah, well, in Georgia, I believe that Kemp is going to win again, just because the people the side that they were on 4 years ago are for the most
Mhm.
part still on that same side. I think that Carrie Lake is going to win Arizona,
Mhm.
which is a good thing. I'm a big fan of hers. We'll talk about her more on another show. Just a sharp, intelligent whip cracker,
Yeah.
that used to be in the leftist industry of journalism.
Yes.
and
Yes.
like Tulsi had to get away from them.
Mhm.
I don't think that Walker is going to be Warnock. I
Okay.
think that that black church community that you spoke of a while
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
they they're supporting Warnock.
Mhm.
And even though Walker has a lot of support, I think that he's not going to dethrone Warnock.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, with that, I agree with you about Carrie Lake. I think she will take Arizona without a doubt. I do think Kemp is fine. I think he'll be okay. I think Walker is going to win. And I say this is because there is like Atlanta, the metro areas, then there's the rest of Georgia. The rest of Georgia is red. I mean, solid red. And Biden made everything go up, and the Democrats made everything go up. So I think that he's going to suffer because of it. So one of us is right. We'll see.
Yeah,
um,
and Warnock, he referenced Biden, and I mean
yeah,
the Democrat Party has been screaming pro-choice nationwide
yeah,
from the roof of the White House.
hmm
So for them to work with Warnock, who is also a Democrat, they don't want to be contradicting each other, and
right,
Warnock wants that support.
yeah. That makes sense, and he's voted, for Biden's stuff. And they
Yeah.
say 96% of the time. So, they're one and the same according to the voting pattern. That brings you to the end of this episode of Brutally Honest Talk Radio. Leave a 5-star review for us wherever you listen to this podcast, and make sure to subscribe on YouTube and hit that notification button so you'll be notified when a new episode is uploaded. And don't forget to follow us on the socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and wherever you are, we are as well. And with that, we will talk to you next week.
Yes, thank you very much, Inger. She said it all. You know where to follow us. Welcome to the family, and we will catch you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.